I'm live. Hello, lifestylers. It's so funny. What I was just saying in my previous live was that whatever happens just before I go live on my page, I tend to manifest exactly what I'm just about to talk about. I was like, I haven't got enough time. I haven't got enough space. I haven't got enough light. Lack. It's just a whole lesson in itself. Oh, I can't do this. There's not enough space. Oh, I can't do this. There's not enough time. I can't do this. It's not planned. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. It's going to sound stupid. All these things. And I'm like, that's exactly it. So I hope you're all well. I've missed my live last week on Friday. And so this is your Friday night live for my lifestylers, the art of lifestyle. And in the time that I've done my previous one, I've managed to have the most horrendous cold, and which I know a lot of people have been suffering with, and a birthday. So please feel free to join me and let me know whether you've been suffering too, or whether you've had a birthday. But I wanted to talk about more. That word more, and how loaded that word is, literally, and also to draw attention to my hands, because a number of my friends have said that I'm like really expressive with my hands, and when they go here, they're like, what is she doing, Carly? So yeah, it's really interesting to have some feedback when we're doing you're doing lives all the time, and just to see what it is that people perceive from them. But I wanted to talk about more. And how, as human beings, it is a natural desire to want more. So to live in that kind of zone of dissatisfaction can either be very healthy or very unhealthy, depending on what you decide it to be. Human beings naturally want to expand. That is our thing. I'm really hairy this evening. And I sound like a sea lion on heat. Is that what's that? I don't know, sea lion that's having a bad day. That's what I sound like. So human beings have a natural desire to want to expand. And that's the word desire comes from that split of satisfaction and wanting more. And I think we've kind of grown up in a world. Hi there. Grown up in a world where more is frowned upon. Like, oh no, and so we have this kind of fear-based sort of sensation of, oh no, I mustn't go and do that because of this, or no, I couldn't possibly do that because of this. So all those feelings that I was having before my life. Oh, there's not enough time. Oh, there's not enough space. Oh, I haven't got enough lighting. Oh, I can't talk properly. We're lack-based, all lack-based. And I think I came up with this statement, and it was something that I learned when I was in one of my yoga trainings years and years ago. It was how we strive constantly, but we never seem to arrive. So striving and never arriving are both feelings of complete and utter suspension in nowhere, and they're lack based, because if you're always wanting more money, then you're always in a position where you haven't got enough. If you're always wanting more love, then you're not feeling like you have enough love. If you're always feeling like you want more health and you want to be more healthy, then you're always in a position where you're lacking in health. The same with food. If you want more food, then you haven't had enough. You're dissatisfied. And that's with sex as well. If you're like, I want more sex, and it's a crazy conversation to have, but then you're always in a position where you're dissatisfied, and that dissatisfaction is a space of lack, and it will continue to manifest more lack, because essentially what you're doing is you're attracting more of the same. So we're always going to end up going back to the same thing, don't we? My situation before my life, where I was saying, this is not right, this is not right, this is not right. I was just attracting more and more and more and more of that until I went, B, it's going to be fine. It's going to work. Everything's going to be okay. It's just a lie. And so finding a place of abundance within your, accepting those feelings that you have of striving, accepting those feelings you have of not arriving, but coming into the middle of that space there is acceptance. It's acceptance of where you are and finding gratitude in that moment, because there's always, always something that you can be grateful for. And then from that gratefulness, you can expand it into more and more. So what you edge out your lack. God, I'm using my hands. I think it's just part of the thing. You're expanding and you're expanding and you're expanding more of your gratefulness. Therefore, you will attract more of the same, which will allow you to move into these small incremental arrivals of the things that you desire. So it's really bringing it right back, because you can't expand if you're contracted. You can't expand into more if you're in that space. So that negative lack space. And also it's like the feeling of being enough, which is a lot of my friends in the same business as me. We talk about this a lot. It's allowing yourself, if you are enough, then that expansion will come in. So it's working with acceptance. Otherwise, you're working in a space where you're a slave. You're trapped into that condition. And I think it's the same. What I wanted to add as well was when we allow outside experiences, so if we're seeing a condition around us that is displeasing to us, and we're surrounded by human beings, different people every day, and they're not always going to do what we want them to do. They're not always going to say what we want them to say. And sometimes it's going to be really displeasing, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to have that much impact on you, because what you're doing is you're allowing your outside circumstances, not enough, lack, this is not how I want it to be, to influence yourself, your internal world. So you're giving permission to all these conditions, and there will be a lifetime of them, I assure you, that are not going to suit you. But as soon as you allow them in, as soon as you see them as reflecting of your own lack, then they become you and you become a slave to them. And I'm pretty sure that most of us are not going to like the word slave. It's like going to a job you don't like. You become a slave to it. Until you find those things in that job that make you feel really good, and there's going to be some, and you just have to find a way of like focusing on them. Focus on them. What we tend to do as well, like when a situation isn't right for us, is work with personality. And persona is a Greek word. Persona means mask. So problem with my Wi-Fi. So I have no idea how this might turn out. It might look really strange, sound really strange. So the mask is a way of us kind of forcing a acceptance of what is happening and not really showing up as ourselves. So persona in Greek means mask, and when you put that mask up, it's like the ego going, this is how I want to be seen. This is how I want to be perceived, and it's not allowing your true self to show up and to be raw and to be open to expansion. And we all have a certain amount of ego. You can't exist without ego. So don't be offended when I use the word ego, but we can't exist without it, because it is part of the trouble with my restriction on Wi-Fi, my contraction, my comfort zone. So yeah, I'm going to tune off because I don't want to like go on and on and on and on. But yes, ego is a form of limitation. And when you drop your mask and when you drop your ego and when you drop that sensation of being fixed and slaved into a certain way of existing, you open up to new, which is gorgeous, I think. So thank you for joining me. And yeah, more is okay. Enjoy the journey and just find a way of accepting where you are right now. And then maybe just for the next few days until we do our next live, think about being really grateful for where you are right now. Find one thing every day that makes you feel so grateful to the point that you have tears in your eyes. To the fact that you stand up, that you can breathe, that you move, that you can see, that you can hear, that you can taste. All of these things, and just revel in them, and they will expand. And then we'll just bunk on with some more expansion next week. That wasn't such a bad live after all. And I'm sending you love, peace, and namaste. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you next Friday, lifestylers. Bye.